I just say hello and welcome for the final time here in season 4 to the Homestead Miami Speedway for the season finale here in season 4 for the SAAC Cup Series here from Southern Florida here in Homestead. But obviously, hello, my name is Christian Delgado. We're supposed to be alongside Matthew Pachaski up in the booth, but looks like Matthew cannot make it, at least here for the start of the race. Hopefully we can get him in and going here um, throughout the race, potentially here to join me up here in the HVTV booth. But obviously a big night to talk about here. Just over 6 minutes left in practice. Season 4 finale, as we see 6 drivers are going to be trying to battle it out here for a championship. Obviously some a little bit better than others when it comes to the chances here. And obviously something I'm not sure that you fans might not be aware of here in the chat, but for this race, it will be triple points for tonight's race. So that really swings a lot of things here. It gives some drivers a little bit more opportunities to potentially drive up there to some of your points leaders here, because obviously we still come in here with a points gap coming into our season finale. Even though we shrunk down from 9 drivers to 6, those points still carry over from round to round to who gets in and who gets out. So while we get the opportunity to, let's go ahead and take a look at our point standings coming into the season finale here. Coming into Homestead, we look at James Thurston, James Bomar, Steven Maggio, AJ Hyder, Connor Chavari, and obviously at number 31 of Reeves there in 6th. 2 Toyotas, 3 Chevys, and that solo Ford of Thurston top of the board there. I believe Thurston's in a Chevy though for this tonight's race, so that's interesting. Regardless, you see Thurston with a 28 point lead over Bomar. And then you see further on back, 54, 96, 148 for Chavari and Reeves there. So looking back at the points, obviously triple points for tonight's race. So 1 lap led will, instead of getting that bonus point, you'll get 2 bonus points, right? You'll get 3 bonus points, my apologies, for 1 lap led, right? And usually you get 2+ laps led, you get 5 points. Because it's 3 times, you get 15 extra bonus points. Most laps led usually get you 10 extra points, but if you get the most laps led, that will transfer over to 30 laps led. And obviously, they also get 5 bonus points for fastest lap, so that 5 points gets transferred to 15 bonus points. So a lot of points to be, on the table tonight. And obviously, triple points, obviously that means the higher end gets so much more than the lower end does. You look back at, like, first, for instance, we'll get 270 points, versus if you don't have the best race, you get 147, right? That is over a 130 point swing, just under actually, an 130 point swing there, 123 point swing. So anything could happen. These top 6 guys have to be on their marks tonight here coming into Homestead, or even someone like James Thurston with an 148 point lead and easily lose it to even someone like Ollie Reeves. Obviously, Thurston needs to have a bad race. So does Bomar. So does Maggio to give really those bottom 2 a chance. But it's going to be interesting to see. But looking at just over 3 minutes left in practice here tonight, we'll take a look and go down trackside here in just one moment. Take a look and see who some of your fastest drivers are in practice tonight and who maybe to look for. Not only your championship 6, but also some other drivers to look at here coming into tonight's race. We go down trackside. Take a look here at one of your championship 4, James Bomar in the 20. Our thumbnail driver actually as well. Back there in P3. He currently sits 3rd in practice right now. Gabe Cazola, Connor Trafari actually. Trafari just moved up to P2 in the points. Obviously, he has his car in the garage here for these last couple of minutes in practice, but Trafari obviously a big uphill to climb here in tonight's race. So you need to show up and show out at practice. And if anything, you go up there and you sit on the pole. You go up there and you sit quick in practice, especially for these drivers who have been in practice for a while. It kind of shows like, oh man, maybe Trafari does have speed. And it's those mind games that start to play here early in practice and early in qualifying. Not even going into the race yet, you'll start to see, some drivers be like, oh man, maybe the 9 looks quick, Connor Tafari, last season's champion, right? He's got a lot to prove, but he's got a lot to strive for. 184, 148 points back. It's quite a bit to make up here tonight in tonight's race, but obviously the triple point, for this final race really does give some of these guys further in the points a big opportunity to potentially try to make some big strides to get to James Bowmore, to potentially James Thurston leading the points there. Obviously, probably something that those two drivers didn't want to see. Because Thurston could have, essentially, if it was regular points, could have probably coasted to a victory with just like a top 5 finish tonight. Obviously, there's a lot, of points that can get given out. Like, if anything, I think it would have been a championship fight between the 20 and that number 82 machine of Thurston. And speaking of Thurston, back here in P17 in practice, so your points leader not showing the most speed here in tonight's race. Obviously, a lot of racing to go. Obviously, we know Thurston can get it done, but it's interesting to see that he's not having the best practice. Obviously, I know Thurston for his long run speed, so that could be a case as well to where Thurston just hasn't really put in a hot lap here. And I know a lot of drivers here, especially in these championship finales, who try to just mask and hide what kind of pace they have here early in the race, just because they want to show. They don't want to show any of their cars early, and I think that's a smart thing to do. But obviously, Thurston not the best in practice right now. You look at some of these drivers. Here comes AJ Hyder. He just went top of the board here in practice. So maybe here in practice now, it's kind of some of those drivers in this, Chris Lee Designs 44 showing like, hey, I actually do have some speed here at Homestead. I just didn't want to show my cards quite yet. Now you see here late in practice, AJ Hyder top of the charts here as we get ready to go into qualifying. The qualifying underway here from Homestead. Obviously, Homestead is one of those tracks you can kind of run wherever you want to. This at a fast lap, I know there's probably a cheese that these drivers know, that some of these drivers might know actually, of like what's the best line to run. It might be bottom bottom, it might be top top, it might be top bottom, it could be bottom top, whatever it is, right? But I feel like here at Homestead, one of those tracks that allows you to kind of put your car wherever you want to, be pretty successful. Take a look here at the 42. Wyatt Roberts comes out on track. And Wyatt did not have the best race last week from Homestead. I think he still squeaked out a top 10 finish, but not the, especially here on the network, not the results that we expect out of Wyatt here. But going on board with Wyatt to see what he's doing here from Homestead. First lap around. A lot of these drivers setting their first laps. Currently Ethan Marino in that 7 top of the board there, and qualifying 32.37. How close some of these drivers are going to get to the wall here. See Wyatt. Looks like sounds like you locked up the right front there going down into 3 and 4. Is a little bit quicker here now. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be almost even with his lap that he just set. So slightly faster with the 32.63. He'll move up to P7. Not the qualifying I think Wyatt expected to have here, but take a look at some of your drivers still out on track here. Connor Trafari still sitting in pit road. Look at AJ Hyder. He comes out on track. No Hyder coming in 4th in points. It's a big lap. All these guys need a big lap. These front 4, because remember, I mean, it's 3 extra points, right? It's 3 points for the pole, right? It's not 1. You don't get that extra point for getting the pole tonight. It's 3 points. AJ not liking that first lap. He's going to park it. We'll go ahead and grab Steven Maggio as he comes out on track here in his Toyota Camry. Steven comes in here third in points. 54 points behind. So I feel like Steven, I feel like it's kind of the front three versus the back three, right? I think Steven just on points, if Thurston and Bomar don't have the best race, if he doesn't have the best speed, Steven not have, like in his lap either. Bomar on his first time lap. Actually, let's grab Thurston, actually. We talked about Bomar a little bit earlier in the show. Thurston on his first time lap. Out of 3 and 4. .3. That's good enough for P2 as we stand. Good lap. We'll see if he can improve at all here. Usually in these next gens, though, usually a little bit slower on the second lap. So if we see him go towards the green here, we will go back to him. But right now, looks like Bomar back there to P5. AJ Hyder up to the pole. I tried to grab him. He jumped up the charts there. The last lap here. Steven Maggio gonna have to try something on the second lap. Out of 1 and 2. 30 seconds left in qualifying, so it's gonna be a buzzer beater for this number 51 machine. So currently, AJ Hyder, James Thurston, James Bomar, looking for the number 9 of Trafari. So we'll look at see what Maggio's time is. 32.41, good enough for P6. Trafari across the stripe. 32.48, good enough for P11. So your last season champion, not showing the speed that I think he wanted in qualifying, but AJ Hyder, he gets those 3 points. Remember, he's 96 points back. Put that back to 93, right? Plus he'll get the track position. Plus he'll probably get that lap lead. Right? So, no. So my apologies. It looks like the 1 lap lead is 3 points. I don't think we see a fastest thing for, I don't think we get bonus points for the pole. Usually we do see that in most of these leagues here, but I do not see that here. Ole Reeves, we haven't got to talk about him. Remember, he's kind of the underdog, I guess you could say, right? Obviously, all these guys are very talented drivers, but he's coming in here the last seed of these final 6, tied in points with Connor Trafari. Oh, he's going to have a big uphill battle, right, tonight here from Homestead. Him with the, with the driver tied with him in points right there on the bottom side. Just do that 9 to the bottom side of the track there. See him slide up in front of the 31 there. So it'll be those two, really, I would say, battling it out here for P5 in the point standings. Potentially the championship, obviously, if something would happen to the 4 drivers in front of them. I mean, a perfect race could probably point them towards AJ Hyder, right? About a 50 odd points ahead, especially with the triple points tonight here in tonight's race. But be interesting to see what these drivers can do right now. Top of the board here in happy hour. Donovan David, and then number 94. We'll see if that changes hands anytime. At least not this lap. Connor Trafari up the P4 in happy hour. Fastest out of our playoff guys. Malachi Drake in the 90. He's back to P number 13. He rounds out most of you guys here. Malachi, I believe, his first start of the season with us on the network, at least. So Bomar fighting with the 52. Of Austin Doran. Austin, really quick last week at Martinsville. Did have a self spin on his own accord, but So it showed a lot of speed last week. You know, I'm interested to see what some of these guys who aren't playoff drivers can do, right? You looked at, you know, Gabe Cazola. He was one of the faster guys in practice. And we know Gabe, you know, he's, you know, raced with us in AWC before. You know, he's going to just go out there and race his race. He doesn't really care about situation. He wants to go out there and show that he can be quick, right? And I don't blame him. You know, I almost respect it a little bit more, right? That he doesn't, you know, he races every single race the same. So if Gabe can, you know, find some speed here from Homestead. Obviously, Homestead, a pretty good track for Gabe, at least here on the channel. So I'm interested to see if he can, you know, back up that really good practice here. Hyder kind of running by himself. You see White Roberts and some cars behind him. You see, oh, Connor Trafari loose. Probably see that quite a bit in tonight's race. Michael Wall's someone also to look out for, I would say. Back there in the 24. There he is. I was trying to find his name on timing and scoring, and I couldn't find him. Here's Micah in the 24. He parks down Pit Road. But just over 30 seconds left in happy hour. You need to see some drivers. You see the 36er Ramirez. I believe he was one of your drivers looking in on points last week. Unfortunately, could not make it happen. Just like that. Happy hour getting ready to be rounded up here. We'll get ready to go. Racing one last time here in season 4. So 134 laps here from the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. I don't believe there's any stages here in the season finale, but obviously the big talking point tonight, triple points for these drivers, especially those top 6, racing it out for a championship. It's going to be super interesting to see how they calculate that, right? Who can take advantage of these triple points, right? Who, you know? I don't see these drivers racing each other hard or racing each other dirty to try to give people bad opportunities, but obviously some of these drivers need some of, you know, especially Beaumont and Thurston, to have a bad race tonight to give themselves an opportunity to get a championship for themselves. We'll go ahead and take a look at our starting lineup here, presented by HVTV. See everybody lined up on pit road here, getting ready to go green. We'll see your starting lineup here. AJ Hyder, your pole sitter, alongside Ethan Marino in the number 7 machine. Another playoff driver, your points leader coming into tonight's race. James Thurston back there rounding out your podium. You'll see Austin Doran round out row 2 back there in P4. See back there in P5, Brad Zesnowski. The 28 alongside another championship 6 driver, Steven Maggio in the number 51. Michael Walls, James Bomar round out your top 8. And Chris Downey, Ollie Reeves, you know, one of the drivers on the brisk of the you know, trying to make it in back there in top 10. Connor Travari, one of your other top 6 drivers, back there in 11th. Christopher Robinson, P12. River Jones and Jockey Tarpley back there in P14. Fidel Fabian alongside Andretti Robinson rounding out your top 16. Malachi Drake, Jamie Wright, Donovan David, Wyatt Roberts round out your top 20. Got here outside the top 20, Cody Ramirez. Quincy Strawhacker back there in 22nd. Connor Zola, Alexander Schumacher back there in P24. Declan George, Nicholas Budlimick back there in 26th. Gabe Cazola actually did not have the best qualifying for him back there in 28th, and 29th will go to Ellis Wells. Running out the top 30 will be Brian Lorenzo. You'll see it back here, Lone back here in the back here in 31st. Go to Larry Miles. Looks like back there in 30th. It actually says 30th. I think maybe someone might have gotten DQ'd or not joining the race or whatnot, but you'll see drivers coming down pit road here, checking pit road speed. Making sure they can get everything set up, ready to go. Maybe trying to find their pit box here for the first time. Remember, that's something that, and I really love that these guys do here, is they let these drivers come down, find their box. You see those big, bright boxes there on the right side of your screen there. Making sure that they know where to go, right? Look at that. Checking pit road speed, trying to find where their box is. I think that's super cool that the admins let these drivers do that. Get everything set and ready to go here from Homestead for the last time, especially for those championship four. They cannot afford to have a mistake down pit road. They can't afford the speed down pit road. They can't afford especially to miss their box. Lights are off on the pace car. We'll be going 134 laps here tonight here from the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. You'll see a Chevy front row, the 44, AJ Hyder, looking for his first championship alongside Ethan Marino in the 7. Looking for a race win tonight here from Homestead. You'll see that's James Thurston in the 3rd place. You'll see that 52. The lone Toyota back there in the 2nd place, but back off the Barney the flagman as we get ready to go. 134 laps here from Homestead. Across the stripe, AJ Hyder takes the point here early from Homestead. He'll take the race lead down into 1 and 2. See the 44, he chooses the bottom, that right off the bottom actually, as you'll see the 7. Ethan Marino, he jumps to the top side, trying to use that momentum off the corner to keep the P2 spot away from now James Bomar, who's up 5 spots from where he started. What a first lap for Bomar, up inside the podium spot, gets around James Thurston in the 84 and that Precision Toyota Camry. Everybody just trying to find their groove, trying to find their way, where they want to find out. You see Ollie Reeves down there side by side for P7. He's looking to need the 52 of Doran for the spot there. Has to follow the suit there, will get clear. Jump up, try to jump up in front, he will get clear. I think Doran gave him the opportunity to jump up there as soon as he could. The battle now for the P3 spot. Thurston underneath the 20. The Toyota Camry side by side through 3 and 4. Bomar with a little bit of a side draft to keep him on the top side. Going to try to use the momentum to at least try to get a little bit of a better entry here in the 1 and 2. We'll see Thurston down to the bottom. But Bomar, good momentum off the top side. One of these guys are going to have to give up the spot. It's like Thurston will heal here, and he'll be back to P4 where he was, where the battle started. And something I have to say, if you're Thurston, if you're Bomar, if you keep you guys up, if you keep yourselves up there, right, it's a battle between 2 cars. You don't have to make it between anybody else, right? If you guys can keep the cars up towards the track here, it will be a battle between exclusively that 82 and that 20 machine. So if you're Thurston, I think be a little bit more patient here. You have a lot more to lose than a lot of these other drivers, but you also have the points to give up if you need to, right? See back there, further on back, there's off the back bumper of Michael Walls, right? Look at the swarm here. You see Ollie Reeves on the top trying to make up some spots. Made the pass on the 52, but not a 52 to the bottom. Boston Doran trying to make up that spot one more time. But then you look, off the front bumper of this 24. Appreciate the 24 and Michael Walls letting us right on board with them here. But you'll see there's 4 cars up there, right? AJ Hyder, Bomar, and Thurston, right? You look at, the 2nd place guy of Ethan, right? Marino is trying to race for a win here. As you see him to the bottom of the 44. Trying to make the pass for the lead. Not going to make it happen as caution waves. Donovan David around here right at the entry of turn 3 and 4. We'll have to take a look and see what happened here to this number 94 machine. Forgot our caution. Well, I saw it here. Where you guys got to. Just made a little bit of contact here. The driver on his outside there. I'm unsure who that was. Looks like maybe one of the Robinson cars. And he'll take a spin down here off the racing surface. So I'm surprised that this got called. I mean, it was off the track, out of harm's way. But regardless, you'll see this 94 come to a stop here. About, you know, that on the, let's say the 2/3 mark here of this back straightaway. And caution will wave here on lap 7 to come back trackside. So AJ Hyder able to keep the lead here, and he will, you know, get those 3 bonus points for leading a lap, right? And honestly, you know, if, you know, he can lead every lap, he's going to take at least those 3 bonus points. And also, you know, you look at this now, 2+ laps led. He just got 15. So right there, he just stacked 18 bonus points here in these first 8 laps. You know, leading, taking the lead, getting the pole, all that stuff. He just stacked 18 points, right? AJ Hyder, I mean, he needs a lot even to get this Maggio. And Maggio, you know, you look back at Maggio, I don't see if I can find this number 51. He's up to P7. Honestly, I didn't remember Steven having the best qualifying, but yeah, he's still qualified inside this top 6 where he needs to give himself an opportunity to give himself a good shot. Should be getting ready to go back green here from Homestead. Lights off on the pace car. AJ Hyder to lead the line here. Remember, single file restarts here for the Cup Series. And this is why track position means a lot more, especially if you are the leader, right? You get to dictate when the race starts, and you don't have someone on your inside or on your outside, right? Like, depending on, you know, in some leagues where you pick as the leader, right? You get a jump, you get to go, right? You know, the only kind of opportunity you have at someone passing you is if that's the guy in second. If you, at least in this situation with the 44, it's a good jump on you, can keep there, and you make a mistake getting up through the gears or something like that, right? Granted, in these next-gen cars, it is pretty hard to miss a gear with the sequential gearbox, but you know, I have seen it before where, you know, a guy will maybe not blip enough to, you know, get that shift engaged, right? Or, you know, I've seen drivers use the clutch sometimes, even though you don't need to in these next-gen cars. But, you know, some people clutch in the shift. Some people just blip the throttle to shift. You know, I've seen it happen before where drivers have had some issues here. But pace car back in. AJ Hyder into the United Rentals restart zone. Back green from Homestead. Hyder with a good restart. Marino with a good restart. Everybody trying to get single file. You'll see the first battle up here towards the front. Micah Walls going after James Thurston. Here comes James Bomar for P2. On the inside, a little bit of contact with Marino in the 7. Marino really pinching that 20 down. I'll be interested to see how James likes that and reacts to that. You'll see him still up the track trying to pinch the 7 up now. He said, you're going to pinch me up? Pinch me down. I'm going to pinch you right back up here. But if Bovard wants to make this pass, he's got to make it quick here. Cannot afford to mess around with the 7. Someone who's not even racing for a championship and allow the 44 to continue to pull away here. If he wants to make the pass, he's got to make it quick. If not, just sit back and hope that something happens. So if I was James, just go back there, sit back, try to save some tire, right? You'll see further back, Connor Trafari to the inside, making the pass on, I believe that's the 52 of Doran. It is Austin Doran in the 52. Trafari needs to have basically a flawless race, and we've seen, you know, even in practice we saw this happen. The 31 in that 9 machine of Reeves and Trafari kind of running around each other. The 25 machine of Tarpley back there in the sandwich here between the 31 and the 9. Just like both those drivers up in the outside wall. Ollie Reeves somehow was able to keep the momentum up, keep the spot. You see these two try to, you know, drive through the field, but they have another playoff guy right in front of them, and Maggio. Maggio trying to hold on, but you see the 31 all over the rear end. Trying to put some pressure on. I don't have a lot of experience, you know, calling this number 51, you know, in an action, right? I've definitely gotten quite a bit of reps in here in the booth, seeing how he runs in those O'Reilly machines, but not a lot in the next gen, right? I've raced with him a time or two in the next gen in another league, but outside of that, I don't really know how Steven runs or how consistent or how, you know, his mannerisms in the next gen are. I know he's quick. That's all I know, or he wouldn't be in this fast, or he wouldn't be racing for a championship tonight, but Ollie all over the back of him, trying to put some pressure on, but you see the 51 being really concisive to run this bottom side, maybe try to do a little bit of tire saving. Bomar is slid back to these guys of Thurston into Micah Walls. See Thurston at the bottom once again. We saw this battle earlier in the race with the 82 and the 20 going at it. We saw James Thurston concede the spot there for P4. This is actually the same battle here for P3. And you saw AJ Hyder with the huge mistake. He'll give up the race lead. We'll have to take a look and see what happened to Hyder here. He'll actually get past there. Bomar and Thurston gets around. We'll take a look and see what happened to the number. Is it? Cars around here in the back. The 94. No caution. They keep it going. Very interesting. I mean, it looks like Jamie Wright, Schumacher, Schumi in the back, Donovan David, another issue. Just like that. Race lead goes back to Ethan Marino. Well, goes to Ethan Marino. He leads his first laps of the race. James Bomar, the second. Thurston the third. AJ Hyder back to fourth after that mistake. Got to go back and look at it. Just wanted to show us that wreck, unfortunately. The Hyder got to get back on the horse and tighten those seatbelts one more time and try to get back to work here to get back up towards the front. You know, he's got to, at the very least, stay ahead of these two guys, the 20 of Bomar and the 82 of Thurston, 1-2 in points. Now, Bomar has something that he can try to go and grasp there, right? Trying to knock these points down. I think he's gonna try to be aggressive with the 7 to go get this race lead. Get those 3 bonus points if he can stay out there for 2+ laps. Get that 15 bonus points, right? The issue is he can't afford to use up his stuff trying to get the race lead away. You got to be patient, and you have to kind of take the opportunity when it comes to you if you're the 20 of Bomar, right? Because you talk about it, a 18-point swing, that almost cuts the points lead in half, right? Just like that. And if Bomar would win, I think he wins the championship, even if Thurston comes in second. So I'm looking at the points here that he gave me. Cody Rivera's, one of the admins here, gave me a point spreadsheet of, how points would look here at the end of the race with the triple points. The leader gets 30 more points than second place, just finishing wise, not even talking about leading laps, getting the bonus points for, most laps led, fastest lap, all that stuff, right? I mean, for most laps led, you get 30 bonus points, right? And that's enough just to put Bomar in the lead here, but you still see side by side. And these two want to give it up. The issue is the longer they stay side by side, the harder they fight. Thurston is going to be in the wings waiting. And if I'm Thurston right now, you have the points lead. Gotta be patient. Sit back. And when the opportunity strikes to potentially get a spot here and there, take it. If not, third is going to be just enough, just fine when it comes to potentially, taking home your first championship here. And even now, second to third, it's like it's a 12-point advantage, right? So that's still enough for Thurston to be able to give up. You see the 7 up the track, trying to aero block that number 20 machine. Take a look at some of your biggest movers tonight here from Homestead. It's going to be the 49, a Straw Hacker, and that Mobile 1 Toyota Camry up 11 spots. So you see the 52 of Doran sideways out of 4 there. James Bomar up to the race lead. We're looking at that battle. But here comes a crossover from the 7. No contact here out of 2. Bomar's got to get away here if he wants to keep the race lead. I think he should get those bonus points here. I'm unsure if he got the race lead there going to the line. But Bomar is going to have a huge run out of 4. Drag race to the line. I think it gave Bomar the lap lead there, so that's already 3 bonus points that he has ticked down. But these two are just doing slide jobs after slide job here. The 7, a slider in the 1 and 2. Bomar's going to have another huge run. Look to the bottom side. Now Bomar going to try to use the slider here, but the 7 pinching that 20 down very, very hard to try to keep the race lead back, and he will. The Bomar at least gets the 1 lap lead. And up to the top side, Bomar will go once again. Good to take the camera off these two, because the last time I did, they battled out for the lead here. I am for a quick second, though. We talked about your biggest mover of the race tonight. Our biggest loser right now. It's number 28 machine. It's this Wesky. Down to 12 spots now from where he started in that GTA 6 inspired scheme. Obviously, a lot of people excited for Grand Theft Auto to come out here. Obviously, pre-orders out, I believe. So I'm not the biggest, techie head here, but I believe, I was told that that pre-orders were out and stuff. So, I'm excited to see what the game is like. But you can definitely tell that Brad is as well, making this scheme here for Homestead. Obviously, GTA 6 will be, around the Florida area and the Florida Keys and Miami and all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. AJ Hyder has gotten his way around the 82 for P3. I think AJ's got a fast car. The issue is I don't know if he's got enough time or the points, even if he wins tonight, to get it done here for a championship run. He's coming back 96 points back, right? He does have the 18 points in his pocket. See him up and outside wall, actually, the 44. Now, granted, I do know from experience that you can go up there and almost wall ride in a way to gain a little bit of speed here. I'm interested to see if the admins are going to take a look at that, if, some drivers are going to abuse it. I haven't seen anybody, maliciously do it quite yet. I saw the 44 maybe overdrive the corner a little bit. I think you just saw the 20 of Bomar do it a little bit as well. So, you when you're running the top, you have to put it just in the perfect spot to make some time on the top. Bomar's done a pretty good job at doing it, to the point that you see the 7 of Marino. He jumps up and he's trying to aero block this 20 machine, trying to force him into a mistake, but Bomar not willing to let him go. You see the 7 back to the bottom here. the first time. Bomar should have a pretty good run off the corner here. If there's a crossover in there it is. Crossover again for the 20. And they'll battle it out side by side into turn 1. This time Bomar drives it in. He should get clear here with that arrow griefing to the 7 of Marino, and Bomar will be back to the front here this time. And that's exactly what Bomar needed to do, right? Get up there, try to take the race lead away, and just try to get away here. Up to the top he goes again, but this time I think he'll be side by side with the 7. He should have the momentum off to continue to stay clear for the race lead. And now we know now he does get those 15 bonus points for leading 2+ laps tonight. Now can James Bomar get away though? I know the top side, it feels really good. But how's that affecting the tire wear here on this 20 machine, right? Marino running the bottom. No, the top is really fun. It's really quick, but it does tear up your tires a lot more. But still, you see the Marino machine being able to keep up here, and he's running the shorter way around the track. He does not get the momentum off the corner, but sooner or later, I feel like, especially here in the next gen, that momentum will swap, right? Because 7 can just drive it in. He has more corner speed. He has more center off, right? And Bomar, the only advantage he does have on that top really is the roll off the corner, right? Marino, he actually gets a nose out there, through entry and center. But then you'll see Bomar. You see someone sliding off the surface here. That's the 94 again. A caution will wave. We'll stack everybody back up there. That is Donovan again. An issue how to turn, 2, getting loose or something. We'll have to take a look. And this time all on his own. Out of 2 there, gets the inside wall. Caution will wave here. Once again from Homestead, we'll stack everybody back up one more time. We did run 34 laps here for this first run. I would imagine we'd see, drivers come down pit side here, take those first set of Goodyear tires. We'll have to see here as we come down pit side. Here they come. Down pit side here, you'll see the 44 right there. But I'm interested to see if he can jump a couple spots here. If AJ Hyder can, with that preferred pit stops. Here comes Bomar. There you go. Steven Maggio jumps up to the lead there. I thought that was Bomar. 2 EPI Toyotas. Get the race off pit road. But it's gonna be Steven Maggio. 2 tire. I believe it's definitely a 2 tire stop for the 20. One driver who actually stays out here, he's gonna have 27 laps on these tires. That's the Clan George. So if he wants to come down pit road here, if he will keep that car out on track here. No, so the Clan and Olivia Rodrigo stays out here. He'll lead some laps. So, see the 94. He will get the lucky. He will get one of his laps back here. No, that's Donovan. He'll get back on the lead lap after causing the caution. Very interesting. But 36 laps complete here in the season finale here from Homestead. It's been an AJ Hyder, really. It's been James Bomar, AJ Hyder, and Ethan Marino. Been your consistent top three these first 36 laps here. Some strategy calls here now. It's now to 17. And the Olivia Rodrigo Ford Dark Horse Mustang of the Clan George will lead us back to green. We'll see the 51 of Steven Maggio. The 2-tire strategy call there will start P2, and then the first out of the 4-tire stoppers there, James Bomar, round out your podium spots here. But pace car will be back in, a little bit off the pace car this time. The 17 decides to go. But once again, back into the United Reynolds restart zone. Back green here from Homestead. And already just like that, here comes Steven Maggio to the bottom side. Here comes James Bomar. Everybody with the fresher tires up to the bottom side, trying to make the pass with C. Marino. Here comes everybody, right? Obviously, 27 lapful tires is a lot here from Homestead. You'll see that 17 just continue to fall through the field here. He'll get that 1 lap lead. He will get that 1 bonus point for leading us to the restart. But I don't know if the bad tires are going to be worth it. But Steven Maggio also will get a lap lead here. He leads lap 37 going into lap 38. He can just keep it 51 ahead of James Bomar. That'll be a 15-point swing for him. An 18-point swing, my apologies here. But we know Bomar is going to be aggressive to try to keep this race lead back. Maggio on the bottom here in the 3 and 4. Bomar jumps up to the top. We've seen him up top really all race long. In the 51, hold on for 1 lap. I don't think it's going to happen. Bomar back to the stripe. He leads. Bomar will probably just try to get away here. He showed to have a lot of takeoff speed here. You see AJ Hyder battling with the 7. Back here for P3. And the 7, we've seen him all race long. He's racing for himself, right? He doesn't care that these guys are racing for a championship. He doesn't care about the point standings. Even Maggio got back around. James Bomar, as we're watching, there's so much action all throughout the track here. I don't know, Bomar potentially got the outside wall there. It allowed the 51 to get a run here. Maggio back to the bottom. Bomar is in that top side. Able to hold on. See Marino doing the same thing to the 44. He ran the top in 3 and 4 to keep that P3 position under lock. 25. Driving his way through the field as well, up 8 spots from where he started. Looking forward to that 82 machine. You see the 44 there as well. I mean, yeah, the top is so much fun to run in these cars, but at some point you think of like, well, is it worth running and potentially using up those tires here? I mean, you can just see them sliding there up in the outside wall. We're going to have to lift here. Here comes the 24, Michael Walsh to the inside. I mean, it's the you know, the risk versus reward there when you're on the top, right? Do you risk going up there, getting the outside wall and losing a bunch of time? But also, you know, if you can make it work, you get a huge run off the corners here. Trying to make something happen here. We see a huge battle throughout, you know, from second on back here. Marino back around Maggio here for P2. Remember, Maggio on older left side tires. Only took 2 tires that last run. Now you're starting to see some of these guys with the fresher, you know, all 4 tires trying to take advantage here. Here comes the 44 of Hyder to the bottom, trying to make a move on the 51, but the 51 with the huge corner there, he might take this P2 spot back as he does. Them with the bad corner there in the 3 and 4. Gonna have to redo the pass here. He's not careful. Here comes the 44. Yeah, here comes Hyder to the outside of this 7 machine. See Hyder go middle 3 now. Ooh, the 7 a little bit loose there. Maybe got a little bit of air grip from James Thurston back there in the 82. And now it's that 7. That lone 7 on the bottom trying to make it work. Thurston to the top side. 7 using him up in the outside wall. Thurston's going to go. I don't think he's going to like that too much. Again, the 7 up the track. Contact with the 82. That's 2 corners in a row that those 2 have made contact. More contact between these 2 drivers. This time Thurston just lets him go here, but here comes a crossover. A little bit loose out of the 82 machine. I think he'll get to the left rear of the 7. Not quite, he'll drop back in line. Honestly, I like that maturity out of the 82. I didn't see that 82 come down the track, make any, ill-advised contact with the 7 there. He said, hey, if you want to race that aggressive, I'm just going to let you go. I got way more to fight for right now than you do right now. You're racing for a race win. You're racing for a good finish at the end of the day or something, right? I'm trying to race to get my first championship here in the SAAC Cup Series, right? Well, you see now, Thurston getting a little bit swallowed up here. After that contact, you saw the 25. The Tarpley get around. Here comes the 52 now of Doran. Right? Now, if I'm Thurston, you just got to get your head back, on straight. Try to get back going, right? Because if there's any race that you can't really afford to give up spots, right? Even one spot, it's going to be here at Homestead, right? With Bomar leading the race, you cannot afford to give up spots here. Like back there in P6 right now, he's giving up so much points. He's giving up 65 points running 7th, right? If it wasn't triple points, I think Thurston could probably get away running, inside the top 5, top 7. But tonight, he's probably got to run at least top 2, top 4 at the very best to give himself an opportunity to, hold on here. I mean, if Bomar's leading, like if Bomar wins, right, he wins the championship. Only 28 points back. This is Bomar's goal tonight, was to come in here and win the race here from Homestead, win the race, win the championship, sweep the whole season here in this final race. The only way Thurston wins is if that 20 is behind. And the only way that Thurston wins this championship is if that Bomar does not win, right? And then and if this 82's in some type of spot to be there, right? Like right now, even if Bomar was in P2, Thurston isn't winning back here in 7th. With Thurston, I just think right now the car's starting to ill handle for him in this 30 area. You just see him sliding this car all around here, just trying to get as much as he can. A little bit of contact from the 52 of Doran. A pretty aggressive block by the 82. The Doran just kind of tries to push him through the corner. But the handling's starting to go away for this 82 Precision Machine. See if he can jump up. No. Here comes the 52. Around for P number 7. And now Thurston back to P8. The only thing I can hope is that maybe Thurston really is just trying to save tire or something. I don't really see it happening with how much that car is sliding around, and it just seems like it's driving pretty bad. You see Connor Chikari, right? He's going to make the pass here. Another, championship 6 driver. Thurston just slowly falling. And this is by far the longest run we've had in the race here, 17 laps, I believe. If anything, we're approaching, the battle further up front. as they're trying to hold on. 44, up Hyder. Up to the top side. Should be able to clear, he does. Now, if anybody can play spoiler to these, the Bomar and Thurston, it's going to be AJ Hyder back there in P3 in points. He's got P4 in points, actually. I mean, he got 96 points to make up. I mean, honestly, he's going to need Thurston and Bomar to have a pretty bad day here, right? If Hyder would win tonight, he would need, I would say, doing rough math, he need Bomar, he need basically everybody else to finish outside the top 9/top 10 to get the championship. And unfortunately, that 20 machine looks like it's on rails. And he's starting to move around here, down to the bottom now, which I like to see for Bomar, right? I was afraid that he was just going to go up there and ride the top all race long, burn off his stuff, and then just try to hold on. But now that he's got the clean air, he's starting to move around. He's trying to maybe manage the tires a little bit here. Over about the 1/3 mark in tonight's race, so. Caution. But Limerick, it looks like around potentially. Well, as Cody Rivera is in the 36. I'll have to take a look and see what happened here. On the blimp cam. 36 up into the 45. Kind of losing on his own there. I mean, I saw him. It looked like he was having some issues here. 3 and 4. See the 45 get to the back of him. Not get in the back, get to the back. I think he just kind of aero grips him a little bit there. He's at 36 up the track into the 36. With a contact at the 45 off the bumper at the 72. Around here, off the track here. Caution will wave though on lap number 56, coming to 57. Now stack already back up. That's not what Bomar wanted to see. That's exactly what Hyder wanted to see though. 22 lap run. Good to see everybody back down pit side and see if they come to hard left turn. Now Hyder back up to P2. Hyder's got a strong car tonight from Homestead. I just don't know if he's got enough time. I don't know if he has the points to go and steal this thing here. Championship wise, I think he's got a race winning car. But unfortunately, I think so does Bomar. I think so does, you know, some of these other drivers, right? You know, Bomar and Thurston just need to have a, you know, a top 5 day, top 8 day, right? To keep, I would say, third on point. I would say third on back in a safe distance. Thurston, though, another tire strategy call. He takes 2. We saw the 51 do this last time and relatively be able to hold on. You'll see the pace off, lights off on the pace car. The Thurston, 2 tires stop for him. Everybody else on back. Force fresh Goodyear tires. Thurston, hold on. if anybody could do it, I think it is someone like Thurston. It is someone, you know, who knows the cars pretty well. So. But approaching the halfway tonight's race, about give or take about 10 laps away from halfway. I would say more like 5 laps away, actually, looking at the match. But to the pace car. Once again, a hard left turn down pit road. Back into the restart zone. James Thurston leads us back to green. Thurston immediately to the top side. Going to try to use that momentum to keep the race lead. Championship rival, James Bomar, he'll use the bottom. Thurston starting to scoot away here on exit of the corner. Here comes AJ Hyder now. Bottom of the 20. And that's exactly what Bomar does not need. Is that pressure from the 44. All right. If I'm Bomar, I'm telling AJ, let's get around. Let's try to get around this, you know, the guy on the older tires, and we can battle it out for the race lead, right? Do not hold each other up trying to race for nothing, right? Thurston continuing to run the top. No, like I said, we saw, you know, Maggio back here in this 51. He was able to hold on. Stay inside the top 5 with the 2 tires. So I'm interested to see can Thurston hold on here. He's been able to hold on to the race lead running the top side. So you know, something's definitely handling better with this 82. And maybe he did burn up the right front or something that last run. Bomar cannot make the pass work. You know, once again, you think about it, Bomar has been running the top most of this race. Now he's kind of being forced to run the bottom here in the 1 and 2, right? He's gonna get side by side in the 3 and 4. He's gonna have to slide it, slider from the 20. Can Bomar take the spot away? I don't think he will, because Thurston's still a good run down the back to the line. Give it to Thurston, but at least, no, Bomar still has to get back in line. I'm Thurston at the bottom. I think that kind of checked up. I think that bottled up Bomar a little bit. I think Bomar expected him to go to the top again, and he didn't, right? Caution. Looks like the 90, Malachi Drake around in the back. Drake's brakes machine. Take a look and see what happened to Malachi here in the 90 machine. Out of turn 2. Oh man, just barely not clear of the 89 of Jamie Wright. Just trying to collect it there. You'll see him slide down here off the surface here. Down here, we initially turned in to take the actual the roval or the infield road course here at Homestead. But caution will wave here. The 90, and Malachi Drake going around here. So caution will come back out. James Thurston able to keep the race lead as we've hit golden hour here from Homestead. Now, I believe we'll be approaching halfway in tonight's race as we approach lap 67. We appreciate everybody for coming out and watching tonight's broadcast here, the season finale for season 4 of the SAAC Cup Series here from Homestead Miami Speedway. Who do you think can take it tonight? Not only the race, but the championship. Let us know in the live chat. Who do you think can win tonight here from Homestead? Who do you think will get the championship tonight? Is it Thurston? Is it Bomar? Can Maggio make a late race run here in the second half of the race to potentially put himself in a good opportunity to win tonight? You know, does AJ Hyder have something up his sleeve? Does, you know, the big one happen in the front and allow Trafari and Ali Reeves to potentially grab something here late in the race? Who do you think can get it done here and crown themselves a champion here? For most of these guys the first time, obviously for Trafari and Maggio, I believe, for the second time. Lights back off on the pace car. Everybody getting back single file as we get ready to go green here. Start our second half of the race. James Thurston, the two-tire strategy to keep him up front, continues the lead here from Homestead. James Bomar, his championship rival, with 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Going to try to hunt him back down. The AJ Hyder back there in P3. Steven Maggio back there in 4th. So the top 4 in points, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the track right now. Pace car. Once again, take the hard left turn down pit road. It'll be James Thurston back in the restart zone, leading us back to green here to start our second half of the race. Thurston, not the jump I think he expected to have here, but we're going to look 3 wide for the race lead into turn 1. AJ Hyder underneath James Bomar. Bomar underneath Thurston. Neither 2 drivers were able to clear. And everybody will get back in line here in the 3 and 4. Here comes Maggio to the bottom, looking underneath Hyder. Bomar to the bottom, looking underneath Thurston. Neither car able to make the spot up. And across the stripe once again, Thurston leads us back in lap 69. Thurston learned. He had a little bit of a test run there. You know, that little 5-ish laps up in front with Bomar, right? Bomar got back to him running that bottom side. Did Thurston learn anything on that top to try to figure out how to defend a little bit better? Did Bomar learn anything on the bottom, right? Because we talked about it. Bomar, that's probably one of his strongest suits right now, is running the bottom. He loves the top side here at Homestead. We saw it. And as he got the race lead, he jumped straight up to the top and started to, you know, get away a little bit from the rest of the field. Now he's been forced to run the bottom side, trying to get around the 82 with those, you know, older left side tires. Probably not going to drive as good as Bomar is right now. Isn't going to drive as good as AJ Hyder or Ethan Marino, who's back up inside the top 4. But Thurston using that momentum off at the corner, out of 4, to continue to try to keep this race lead underway here. You know, he's you know, and he's done a good job doing it. He's kind of equalized that advantage that James Bomar had, right? James Bomar got those 18 extra bonus points for leading the 2+ laps, but now it was James Thurston, right? Maggio, you know, he also got those 18 bonus points, but now that Thurston has as well. Anybody who basically hasn't led 2+ laps is even at a bigger disadvantage. Back to Thurston now in points. Get further back. Someone I want to shout out it is 25 for Carsley. Done a really, really good job getting up towards the front here. You know, up inside the top 6, right there in the conversation. If something would happen here in this top 5. 25 is just right there in striking distance. You see the 51 of Maggio right there in the wings, right? And you see the 25, one of the other drivers Been using this top side to make some moves here. Doing a pretty good job of it right now. And got the 24 behind you of Michael Balls, you know, and he's very good in his own right. That's you know, really good by itself here. And that top side working really well for the 25. You saw Jockey a little bit, I would say a little bit held up by the 51, you know, a little air griefing him just a little bit, right? And that's just the dynamic of these next gen cars, right? Steven's just running his own line, but he has probably no idea that further on back, he's actually, you know, air griefing someone. Not on purpose, but, you know, he's trying to keep the spots up, right? You see right there. And the bottom to try to air grief the 9, the 25. I mean, that's what it looks like at least. I don't know if he's doing that on purpose, but Maggio trying to do everything he can to keep up the spots here, put himself in an opportunity. A third and points, only 50 odd points back. Only thing is it's, you know, Thurston Bomar 1-2 as they race it out for the race lead. Bomar with the huge lunge into 3 and 4. Caution. I think Bomar got the spot before the caution came out. Jamie right in the back in this 89 machine. Brings out our third caution of the race. Fourth caution of the race, my apologies. Now there was someone up wrecking in front there. That was the, is that the 42 potentially of Wyatt? No, there was someone else wrecking up in front of him. We'll see if we can. 26 it looks like potentially. This who we're looking at here, I believe. Yeah, River Jones in the 26 goes around out of turn 2 on. We'll see if he got some help or if something happened here. Battling it out with the 17. We saw this as basically caused the last caution with Malachi. 26 thought he was clear, was not clear. And unfortunately, Jamie Wright loops it trying to get slowed down for the wreck. So 2 separate incidences here under caution. Pit stops underway. Like AJ Hyder takes the race lead here. A little bit of strategy calls here. Maggio, lots of drivers taking 2. So that will put James Thurston back here in P9. So let's see, I'm trying to decipher here what happened. So we had 4th on back come down pit road. And Steven Maggio, Connor Trafari, Ollie Reeves, and Christopher Robinson. In that 12 machine. Take 2 tires. Everybody further back. James Thurston, 9th on back. Took 4 fresh Goodyear tires. So the first of the freshies are back there in P9. And it looks like 5th on back have at least some fresher tires. But AJ Hyder, 25 Ashaki, and Andretti Robinson in the 45. And so does Brad Swisky in the 28, that GTA 6 car. They stay out on track there with 20 lap old tires. Everybody else at least took 2. Everybody further behind. Only 1 driver laps down tonight here, and it is the 36 of Cody Ramirez. We did lose 2 drivers here throughout the race. That's very interesting. So down to 29 cars here on track. Gonna be AJ Hyder, your pole center for tonight's race. We'll lead us back to green here. We'll get a couple more laps led under his belt. Not gonna get him any more points. Granted, I really do wish that there was a league or a points format that I've seen here on the series that would give you like a bonus point for every lap you lead back, like they did back in the day. But regardless, that's not how it works tonight. Pace car back down pit road, back into the restart zone. AJ Hyder, that Chris Lee Designs 44, back to the restart zone, back green to start lap 79. A good jump by Lilly, by Hyder. My apologies. To get out here towards the front. If I'm the 44, I think I'm honestly in a pretty good spot. If I think myself, right? First immediate driver we have is the 51, and probably the 9, I would say, with Jafari on those two Goodyear on the 2 tires, who could potentially try to drive up through the field. But they have, you know, 5 or 6 cars to get around, and that will give AJ a cushion. Wrecking in the back, 7 of Marino around in the back there. I think that's the 24. Michael Wall's also caught up in this. Caution will wave. Take a look and see what happened to some of your front runners here. I think the 7 just loose on, maybe not. Now it looks like maybe the 7 just got loose on his own. The 92, the 82, Thurston just threw his top side. 7 just got kind of air loose around him. You saw the 24, like might have got a little bit of help from someone else. They gotten around the wreck. Just got ran over, checking up. That was a 27 to Chris Downey. Also taking a little bit of a slide there. Caution wave. AJ Hyder able to keep the spot. Keep his car up front. Really like to talk to the race leader. I don't see him in any PCs, so unfortunately we won't be able to talk to the 44 of Hyder up here. He has a little bit of insight. No Bomar, no Thurston in any VCs here, at least in the Discord I'm in, to talk to. So I'd really love to get an insight. I know those two. I know the 3 I was wanting to talk to have really good insight on these next gen cars, and ask them, you know, what the plan is here, right? Yeah, I mean, 2 kind of different plans here. You know, one driver battling for a championship, staying out, trying to take the track position over the tires. See the cars further back, your Thurston and Bomar, 9th and 10th right now, wanted the tires. The lights back off on the pace car. Got to restart this race one more time. We saw that first restart after, you know, that long green flag run, then a short caution 4 laps later. The 7 going around, a little bit of air loose after just a little bit of incidental contact with him and 82 of James Thurston. Obviously we saw the 24. Michael Walls get caught up in that as well, but I don't think I saw any actual damage on those cars. Just, you know, obviously lost the track position. So, but just like that, to the pace car once again take another hard left turn down pit road. Gonna be AJ Hyder once again back into the United Reynolds restart zone to restart this race. Hyder with another pretty good jump. There's kind of a new cast of characters up here towards the front. Look at like Andretti Robinson up towards the front. And then back here in P2, you look at, you know, Shockey, the 25, you know, he's been inside the top 6 or so. Right, has the older tires. We'll see how long these guys can hold on. You'll see the 9 of Jafari as he makes the middle 3 move. Take the 40. He'll try to get clear of the 25, jump up, try to aero grief. He'll get clear. Jafari up inside the top 3. Yeah, 4-car blanket back there. Here comes the 51. Trying to make the move. Agio trying to get the 4th place spot away from the 25. Now you're starting to see these differences now. Jafari with the newer tires starting to drive through the field here. But this time, AJ not being able to get away as much as I think he did the last time here on these first 4 laps, right? Andretti back there to P2 in the 45. See Connor up to the top side. Thurston back here in 82. I don't know why his name's not showing up on our live timing and scoring. That is Thurston back here in 82. In that precision machine. He's at the P8. To make a move to the top side. This is Wesky. Yeah, caution. Having some issues with our timing and scoring here. Not wanting to tell me what this caution was for, who's where. Potentially the 52 Dorian around potentially. He was kind of up towards the front here. Maybe he can show us what happened potentially. Have to do it the old-fashioned way, I think, potentially. Yeah, it is a 52. Contact with the 72. Gabriel. You see him loose here in the 3 and 4. And trying to save it down onto the apron. And finally spins it out here out of turn 3 and 4. Caution will wave. The 7 here, Marino on your screen. Now we'll see some drivers down pit side here. Oh, the worst time to get rid of my camera controls here is we're trying to reset our timing and scoring for you fans at home. You'll see the 7 come down pit side here. Remember, Marino up inside the top 3, top 4. And unfortunately, you know how to slide there. Putting himself in a bad spot. We see I believe Jafari, one of the first drivers. I think he actually was the winner off pit road here. Oh, you see a car up the track there. The 94 again. 94 has not been. Donovan has not had. That car has been out of control for him all race long. Fortunate to see that. Lights off on the pace car. Approaching 40 laps to go here in tonight's race. So some more strategy at hand here. So while we were setting our timing and scoring, we didn't get a chance to walk through kind of the new strategies here. So the top 4 now have stayed out. Actually, the top 7 have stayed out. But the top 4 consists of 14 lap-old tires for Stephen Maggio, Ollie Reeves, Christopher Robinson, and Connor Zola in the 13. He's up here towards the front. And then Chris Downey, 9 laps on his tires. Quincy Strawhacker, 8 laps. Wyatt Roberts, 9 laps on those tires. And back to Kafari further on back. All came down pit side here. At the very least, took some tires, I believe. So, yeah, some more interesting stuff to say the least. But pace car once again back down. Stephen Maggio in the restart zone. Back to green. Maggio with a pretty good jump. Back to Ollie Reeves. Remember, these two looking for points. So, I mean, I think track position is the best way to look for points here. You know, it's definitely not the easiest to pass here, especially in these next-gen cars, especially if you're up on the top like this 31 is. You can build the momentum down the straights. It's going to be really, really hard and difficult for these guys to make up the passes here, even with these guys with, you could say, slightly older tires, right? I mean, these guys came down 16 laps ago, but you could say almost half of those were under caution, right? Under caution laps and stuff. I don't mind the strategy here, honestly, for these two. We come out here and try to take the track position. Obviously, I don't think, I'm not sure if we're in range of making it to the end. So when it comes to fuel wise, nonetheless, it's going to be interesting to see. Caution. Further in the back, Marino again in the 7. Michael Walls potentially caught up in this one again. I was going to ask, like, where did Micah go? But it looks like this latter half of the race, the 7 and the 24, cannot catch a break here. Look here off of our chopper cam. Wow, contact here. Further in the back. 3 wide here. 24 Walls, the 72. Gabriel Hari, and then the 7 just quite literally just turning the 72 up the track. I think the 72 did not like that. Unfortunately, Micah Walls, one of the drivers who kind of gets caught up in this little mess here in the back. I don't know, maybe there was some something that happened earlier in the race, or maybe we missed something. But I mean, we'll see if we can ride on board with someone further behind, like up towards the track here potentially. See if there's someone up here we can ride with. Let's ride with the one machine here. I think that's the one car of Brian, right off his rear bumper here. Here in the 3 and 4. Yeah, very, very. Nonetheless. The caution will wave. Those drivers probably, I assume, yeah, will come down pit side here. And they spun their tires out. They're already in the back. Might as well come down. Like the 7's got a little bit of nose damage as well. Come down. Make sure you, if there is any damage, you get as much fix you can here. There's not a whole lot of laps left tonight in tonight's race, so And that's the one I would say this is right when you don't really want to make a mistake and get yourself caught up in some incidents. Luckily, you know, those drivers, even though they've been quicking up here towards the front all race long, not championship contenders. Obviously, we know Micah can get it done, but and honestly, I think the 7 of Moreno could have got it done. He looked really quick at Martinsville 2 weeks ago. Obviously, Micah, I believe, won Martinsville 2 weeks ago, so. Two very talented drivers, unfortunately, just have not been able to get everything put together tonight here. So as we approach the lap 100 mark here in tonight's race, it's been definitely a chaotic, I wouldn't say caution filled. These last couple of, you know, this last little spurt definitely has been pretty chaotic here since really 20 laps ago, you know, when we're coming back around to get lap 79 underboard here. Is really when we started to see, I don't know if it's the aggression picking up because it's later in the race. I don't know. If the track is, I mean, the track's definitely changing, you know. We started in the day, you know, golden hour has faded, and then we're getting ready to go in the nighttime. So I don't know if the track has changed, but it's definitely interesting to see how much cautions we've had here these last kind of 20-odd laps. DiMaggio with a really good jump. Contact further back. Carnage hard. Completely using up the 82 of Thurston there. Thurston up in the into the 49, a straw hacker. I mean, just super aggressive racing here outside the top 5. Unbelievable, man. I mean, I get it. Both the, like, 20, the 44, the 9, the 82, they all need to get up towards the front here. Thurston, the best of these guys on fresher tires now, up in the P5. But you guys cannot afford to be using each other up like that. I mean, if you guys are wrecked, you guys are out of the championship fight. Or even Thurston in P5 isn't winning the championship right now. And Maggio can hold on for what? Another 25 laps here? I mean, it's going to be hard. I mean, technically, 25, he'll be pushing 30 laps on his tires, right? But if he can hold on, maybe we get a caution here at lap 120, potentially. Steven Maggio, if everybody comes down and pits with him, has a really good shot at winning tonight's championship. I think Reeves is out of the picture here, even though he is running P2. Really good result for this number 31 team, but I think he would need something out of everybody in front of him to happen, right? Including the 51 of Maggio, right? Who's technically ahead of him in points, right? You know, Reeves and Shafari have to win tonight and have to have quite literally all drivers in front of them to have something happen to them catastrophically to drop them outside probably the top 15 in point in tonight's race results. So, but Maggio, on the other hand, he's got something to say about this if he can hold on. All right, Maggio comes in 54 points out. He only, yeah, I mean, he only needs, by the looks of it, Thurston to finish 5th or worst for him to steal it if he wins. But unfortunately, Thurston's up to P4. I'm unsure who has the most laps led tonight, because most laps led gets a 30-point bonus, right? That might have gone to Bomar, potentially. And Maggio, he's got a pretty good cushion, about half of a second back to Robinson. And then Ollie Reeves back there in P3 now. As Robinson is going to look underneath him. He'll make the spot up for P2 as the 12's loose out of turn 3 and 4. What a save by Christopher there. He's going to lose the track time. Now it's going to give James Thurston P3. I still think there might be enough laps. If literally the 51 leads every lap here the rest of the way and can go. Unfortunately, Thurston 7/10ths back and catching quickly. I don't know if that's going to happen. He's got James Bomar behind them. The only thing that I could see imaginable is if Bomar runs down this 82. Oh, a huge block by Ollie there. Because if this 20 catches 82 here, it puts them in a bad spot, and they race it out there and allow that 51 to hold on, right? These guys have to race the heck of each other. You see Ollie right now putting on some big blocks on the 84. That's going to give a huge run to the 20 of Bomar here in the 3 and 4. Where does Bomar go? Middle he goes. James Thurston up to the top with the 31. It's going to be almost 30 wide back here for P2. This is exactly what Maggio wants to see. Here comes Bomar underneath Thurston. Bomar has to beat Thurston tonight if he wants the championship, right? He can't, you know, he can't be nice with Thurston here with under 30 to go. I mean, he has to straight up go up and pass him, and you know, Bomar borderline has to win the race tonight to win the championship, right? So, I mean, this is for all the marbles here. Like, Thurston can't just... oh, it's almost contact between the two, the 82 and the 20. I thought Thurston was going around there. Bomar lifts for him. I don't think, you know, Bomar wants to wreck him for the championship or for the spot. But I think Bomar was not happy. Caution. Caution on the speedway. Larry Miles in the 30 around. I hear some more wrecking. Fidel Fabian. See the 42 Wyatt Roberts up here, Rex. What happened here in the back? The Wyatt Roberts here out of turn 1 and 2. So this was ahead of them. So we'll look at the 55 of Fidel. Looks like Wyatt just kind of loses it on his own, trying to slow down for the wreck. So the 30. Losing on his own there. And the SAAC machine grabs the 55. 55, I think, might have broke his car. Oh, man. Was that the 1? I think that was the 1. I thought that might have been the 24 again. That is the 1. Brian Lorenzo gets caught up in there. I mean, they have similar. Him and the 24 have very similar looking paints. So... the caution will wave here. Maggio, what does he do now? I don't think he can pit unless Thurston and Bomar pit. He cannot give up the track position. The bad thing, though, is everybody else behind him pit. Ollie Reeves came down pit road. And he was kind of the guy that was holding up the 82 and the 24, Steven. Steven, I mean, it's a bad place for him right now, right? If he pits... probably coming out around 9th or 10th, right? Granted, he'll have like 25 laps, just under actually 25 laps to go here to try to drive through the field. But once again, it's one thing to get to someone like Bomar and Thurston. It's one thing to pass. I think he just hopes that he can hold on here. But unfortunately for Maggio, holding on here is not going to be enough. He has to win the race and have Thurston finish at least. Looking back at the points, he needs Thurston to at least finish back there outside the top 5 or 5th on back, right? For him to, you know, point his way on points. We'll go ahead and take a look at our lap sled here to see if we can kind of pinpoint who might have the most lap sled here. We have 21 for Maggio, 16 for Thurston, 28 for Bomar. So very, very close. On here, we'll look further back. AJ Hyder, 26. I'm trying to think of some other people who might have it. Lorenzo Ethan, 14 for him. I can't really think of anybody else who led a good portion of laps tonight. If they did, I apologize. Jafari, yeah, I don't think he's led tonight. So, the 51, I think he might be saving a little bit of fuel here. Because I mean, he's gonna have to go now. What, almost just over 50 laps here on fuel, I think. And he's pushing 60 laps here. He's gonna have to go here on this tank of fuel. But if he can just hold on for a couple more laps, he should be able to tie Bomar. I mean, 4 laps is a lot, though. He's got older tires. And it's not, and it's old, straight up older tires. It's not like older left sides. It's straight up older tires. So it'll be interesting to see. Can this number 51 hold on? Or Thurston and Bomar not going to play around here? Even to the bottom. I think that's the best lane to be here on the restarts here. Obviously, you're going to have a huge run off the top from Bomar. I mean, from Thurston, my apologies. But I don't think it's going to be enough to get there. We'll see Maggio down to the bottom again. Bomar down to the bottom. Thurston's going to have a huge run out of the corner, but not enough. Here he comes to the top side. Steven's going to give him the top. Crossover, side by side for the race lead. Thurston might be able, will not get clear into 3 and 4. Yes, he will, but a huge slide into 3 and 4. Steven is not going to give this up. A huge slide job by the 51. Going to jump up in front of the 82. A huge block. He's going to lead that lap. Keep going off of this back bumper cam. Bomar, he's going to get into a spot to where Thurston cannot continue to do these sliders here. Even needs Maggio and Bomar's help here to try to race this 82. I think Thurston just has a little bit of a better car right now with the fresher tires there, but you see Maggio with really aggressive blocking right now to try to keep this lead. He needs the lead. 4 more laps here. We'll continue to tally up here through the time being of who's going to get this lap lead bonus. Thurston now will be side by side with Bomar for P2. Bomar's going to try to send a slider here into 3 and 4. Thurston with a good run off their exit, though. They're going to be side by side out of the corner. Maggio. 1 more lap, and he'll tie Bomar here for the most laps led tonight. Thurston's got a huge run there down the backstretch, though. But once again, Maggio just has to hold on for 1 more lap to at least tie that number 20 to get the bonus. I don't know how they're going to plan that if it's a tie for laps led. I think he might have got it. We'll have to look here. He got it. Maggio got the lap led there at the line. He'll let Thurston go. But he needs the win, right? Plus the laps led bonus to give him a shot. He cannot let this 82 get away. Maggio with a huge slider down into 3 and 4. Caution. Who's it going to give the race lead to? It looks like Thurston. Connor Zola in the back. And the Napa number 13. Round in the back here. We'll take a look and see what happened. It's 3 wide off of turn 2. Gets a little bit of air loose trying to lift. Try to give space. Gets the inside wall a little bit, and around he'll go. Caution wave here with 18 to go. And that honestly changes a lot here. If you're Steven, don't have the race lead anymore. You're not going to have, the jump on the start because we're going single file. You try to come down pit road here. I mean, the issue is if you come down pit road, I don't think anybody else is coming with you. Thurston, a fake out. And Maggio, Bomar, down pit side. Bomar has to win this race as well. So I don't hate this call, but they have a very, very uphill battle here. You see so many cars who decided to not stay out. As they drop outside of the top 10, outside of the top 15. They might be outside of the top 20 here. Looks like they will sit around 19th to 21st-ish, depending on when they come out of pit road. So they will have to pass quite literally almost 2 cars, about a lap, a car and a half, a lap here. Maggio, I don't think took tires. He only took a splash of fuel. I'm not sure how many tire sets these guys have left, but it looks like Bomar definitely took a set. But the 51 only down pit road for just over 9 seconds. If you're going to come down pit road this late, it had to have been for tires, right? Maggio looks like did not take a set. At least 4. There's no way he took 4 with the 9-second stop. And that basically hands the race lead over. AJ Hyder back there in P3, Connor Trafari back in P5. But James Thurston with the race lead, with the points lead, with 16. We'll be going back to green here with 15 to go. I don't think there's a lot of drivers that are more dangerous with the race lead than James Thurston. So, at least here in the Cup Series, it's going to be hard to get around this 82. And for someone like Hyder, 96 points back, right? He doesn't have the most laps led. And Thurston, we talked about most laps led. Thurston, he inherits the lead here. And he's going to continue to tick this up. If he leads every lap, I think he will get the most laps led. But, you look back at Hyder. Hyder definitely led a solid amount, right? See if we can find this widget here. 26, right? So he's only a couple laps behind. If he can put some laps together, go try to run down Thurston in that 82 machine. He needs only 3 more laps, I believe. Maybe 3 or 4 laps under his belt to secure the most amount of laps led. That should put him within 60 points. And maybe use up Thurston here for the win. Do something to try to make his rockers here. This is for the championship. This is for all the marbles. Obviously, people are going to be butthurt if that happens, but this is 4A championship here. In a very competitive league. James Thurston back to the point. 15 to go here from Homestead. Thurston at the bottom of the track. Looking back to AJ Hyder. He'll secure that P3 position. Like a battle back there for P5. Looked like Trafari wanted it. Hartley's going to keep it. Back there in that 25 machine. Thurston at the top of the track. Here comes Andretti Robinson at the bottom. I like the top, but I definitely think the bottom's better if you can make it work. So all that time that 12 just gained there in just one corner. I don't think that Thurston's out of the clear here for this race win. I think this 45 has got something. He might have something underneath his sleeve here. But is he willing to use up the points leader here? As you see them side by side through the backstretch here, Thurston not being able to get away. Hartley, Robinson has the fresher tires. 12 lap tires versus Thurston's 31 lap old tires. He definitely has a huge advantage over this 82 if he can make this pass work and get away. And that points advantage that the race winner gets is, the 45 up at the outside wall with the slide job. Now they're going to be side by side out of turn 2. Here comes the 44 Hyder. Hyder and Thurston on the same tires, though. Robinson going to jump up. Going to try to get clear here out of turn 4. He will. A crossover by Thurston, though. They'll go side by side through 1 and 2 with 12 to go. Thurston wants to win to secure the championship. Robinson wants to win to show that he still can hang with the big boys up here. No, he was one of those drivers who just got eliminated in the round of 9. But Robinson will clear for the race lead. Not a battle, and the race is going to be on for P2. Thurston, Hyder, both of them up an outside wall. At 25, also on fresher tires. On the same pit strategy as your race leader of Andretti Robinson. Want to go back to Maggio. He's up to P12. He's quite literally gonna have to pass a car every lap if he wants a shot at this. Go back to James Bomar at 20. 20 is back at 16th. Mired back here in the pack. These guys have to start making some desperate moves here with 10 to go. The longer these guys wait, the less chance that they have at making a run for the championship. You see a little bit of contact further on back. 3, 4 wide back here outside the top 10. These guys are getting desperate back here to make some spots up. Maggio up inside the P12 now. Under Zoller, slow down pit side here. Not going to be an option. wrecking in the front. Marino involved. Micah Walls got in this as well. See the 26 of River Jones. 25 of Tarpley involved as well. We saw someone shoot down the track and then back up the track. I think that was the 25. We'll take a look and see what happened. They're racing here. 24 with a big block, and then 25 loses it. Up into the 7. Up into the 56, I believe that was. The River Jones involved as well. Those are a couple spots. But I believe that Maggio and Beaumont took there. Couple more spots closer to Thurston. Right? I mean, the guys on freshies are back there 10th, 11th, and 14th. Andretti. Fresh tires on him as well. Not as new as Maggio and Beaumont, right? He pitted 2 cautions ago, not this last caution. I think Andretti's in a really good spot there in that 45 to be competitive for this race win. Maggio and Beaumont are back there in P9 and 10. If I'm them, you guys have to work together. Do not race each other. Work with each other to try to get through the pack here. We're going to probably get the restart back here with maybe 4, maybe 5 to go-ish, right? You guys have to work with each other to drive through the field here. Try to go back, and if it's possible, to go get that 45 for the race win. Andretti's really spoiling the party there for Thurston to continue to build these laps led. Right? Andretti's going to take those points away, those laps away, to kind of get back up to Maggio and to Beaumont, right? You look back at Maggio. This is going to be really what it comes down to. Maggio and Beaumont tied for laps led. If Beaumont gets it, that's a 30-point. That's a 30-point gap right there. So all he has to do is basically finish around Thurston to make it a race. This is gonna be super tight here in points. Granted, this all comes down to if Maggio can go up there and win the race, right? Maggio goes up there and wins, he will get the championship tonight. if he can drive up to the race lead here in this 5-lap shootout. Got to go from 9th to 1st, but he has the freshest tires in the field right now. Outside of people outside the top 15, Austin Dorian, Connor Travari, they all came down pit road there. They have fresh Goodyear tires, but it's gonna be an uphill battle. 5 laps to go. The sun is down. The lights are out here from the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. The track is gonna be as gripped up as it ever has been tonight here. Who can get the most out of their car here in this 5-lap dash to try to steal this championship away from James Thurston? Pace car off. Austin, Andretti Robinson, back to the restart zone. We're going to get ready to go back green. 5 laps to go here from Homestead. Thurston back up to the top like he has all race long. Going to try to build momentum here through 1 and 2 up through the gears. But that's going to allow AJ Hyder to try to make it side by side here for P2. So here comes Hyder, a slide job in the 3 and 4. Be side by side for P2. Thurston with a good run off the corner. 4 to go here from Homestead. Omar has gotten around. Omar, yes, has gotten around the 51. Getting held up by these older tires, though. He's got to make some moves with 4 to go. Really, 3.5 to go. And use the momentum. Get around Chris Downey. He's up to P7. Andretti Robinson. 3 more laps. There's a Relkin in the back. Relkin in the back. Ramirez. Caution has not been thrown. There it is. Caution out. Omar and the drivers alike up here going to get some more track position. They're going to be up here P5, P6, Maggio and Bomar. We'll be getting some NASCAR overtime. We will be going into NASCAR overtime. This changes everything. Everything. Trying to look at the 45 of Andretti here. I'm not sure if he's won a race yet, so I want to call that properly if he gets an opportunity to. No wins on the season for Andretti, so this would be his first win of the season here in the finale. What a way to get it done if he can manage that. But like I said, not over now. You see some people leering in the back, ready to pounce. Omar. Even Maggio here. By far the freshest tires out of these guys. Towards the front. Another restart. And they get it done. I believe these guys have 3. Gonna come down to the wire. And Thurston hold on for his first SAAC championship here. Can Bomar get up there and take the race win away from Robinson and the championship away? And Stephen Maggio get up there? If he wins the race tonight, he's our champion, right? With these triple points, it's changed the complexity of this race, and I love it. It's given so many opportunities for so many more drivers tonight with the triple points. Right now, like I said, I believe Bomar and Maggio are tied for the most laps led tonight. If they give the favor to Bomar, right? That might put him in a spot to where if he even finishes a spot above Thurston here, he could steal it here. It's just gonna be super interesting because they're both tied with those most laps led bonuses. It's all gonna come down to NASCAR overtime here. The end your season finale here from Homestead. Andretti Robinson back in the restart zone, and we're back green here for some NASCAR overtime from Homestead. Andretti to the bottom, caution. Maybe Wyatt Roberts. I see a lot of damage to the 17 of George as well. See if maybe they could show us what happened potentially on the restart here. Did they wreck up ahead? What happened here? Right on board with the 42 Roberts. I think caution was out right there. Did someone did someone potentially fat finger the caution button? Caution's out right there. I don't see anybody around. No sorts of funny business. That's going to be very interesting because that uses up one of our one of our overtime restarts. Yeah, Steven, I actually saw your chat here later in the broadcast, but yeah, I'm glad that we do have this lap sled overlay here because this is going to be a battle between you and Bomar, as you both are set at 28. I don't know because I don't. It's going to be interesting to see, can you guys even get up towards the front to break the tie, right? Be super interesting there. It looks like they did shorten the caution here. So pace car back down pit road. I believe this will be restart attempt number 2. As Andretti back to the flag, back to the restart zone on green. Andretti trying to hold on. AJ Hyder with a good jump, though. Gets to the inside of Thurston. Thurston cannot afford to lose spots here. Towards the end of the race, you see the 31 up at the outside wall. Omar gonna look to the top. Here comes Maggio as well. The 31's broken. 31 is broken. And they might be wrecking in the back here, potentially. I think we're gonna get back and make it official. White flag in the air for Andretti Robinson. Omar is right there on the 82 of James Thurston. This is for the championship. Bomar. A shove to the back of the end of the 92. A crossover from Bomar. I don't know if they're going to allow that. And they're going to wreck across the line. And Thurston up and over. I don't know how they're gonna like that. The race control here. A race for the finisher. Andretti Robinson, we didn't even call it. He wins the race. Congratulations to Andretti. I'm so sorry to Andretti. I didn't even call his first win of the season. But I don't know how they're gonna like that. So congratulations to Andretti. AJ Hyder, P2. Steven Maggio will come home P3. James Thurston back there in P5. Now I'm looking back at the points. I don't think that's going to be enough for Maggio to steal it yet. They still have to go through the points and make everything official here. Because looking back, the P3 will get 228. Oh, man. That's a... Yeah, I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough for Maggio to get it. But Andretti, regardless, first win of the season for that number 50-45 machine. Congratulations to him. That race was so exciting. I at the end there, we're going to have to go back and take a look at this. Had to have been right here. But this was a little bit earlier. Go back here. I move from James Bomar here on the 82 of Thurston. Tried to bump the 82 of Thurston. Thurston drives down the track. We'll have to see here. Does Bomar come up? Or does Thurston come down? That is going to be the ultimate decision. Because, I mean, do you penalize something like this at the end of the race here? This is for the championship, right? Thurston up an outside wall. Thurston definitely comes down the track and wrecks the 20 with him, right? Across the stripe he goes, right? And you'll see him get completely launched up in the air by the 60 machine. But is that something they will penalize here in the Cup Series? Will they, you know, do something about this, right? Obviously, he got a huge shot in the back by the 20. And then he just turns down the track here to basically make sure the 20 doesn't get the spot. And not only that, somehow him and Bomar end up not finishing behind each other. Gabriel Dehari in 72 somehow squeaks in between the scoring loops to separate Bomar by 2 spots there. So it's gonna be super interesting. I'm gonna be sitting and waiting on the points to be updated. Because once again, Maggio and Bomar both tied for both lap sled, right? Will they penalize something like that? Regardless, I'm going to go ahead and talk. If they're up here in the waiting room. No one waiting in for an interview right now. I think everybody's just waiting with their breath held to see who gets the championship. Do they penalize Thurston? And we might even call this on the broadcast wrong because they might penalize him post-race, post-broadcast, and give the championship to someone else, right? I'm just looking at the spreadsheet as they're updating it right now. It looks like Thurston, unofficially, your Season 4 champion as we speak right now. AJ Hyder comes home P2 in the race. Looks like he'll unofficially finish P4 in the nights, in the standings as we speak right now. So the 45 will burn it down here. Still waiting on people to join the waiting room for their post-race interviews. Congratulations at the very least to Andretti Robinson. First win of the season. Comes here in the championship finale here from Homestead. Still waiting on people to join the post-race channel for interviews, and I'm just reading through the live chat here. I think that it is official that James Thurston has won your championship. While we wait on that, I guess we'll go ahead and talk to we'll go ahead and take a quick commercial break here, and we'll be back here to start your post-race show. Just waiting on some drivers to get fun with it. Obviously, very chaotic last restart there. A lot of upset feelings, a lot of excitement, a lot of heartbreak. But congratulations, Andretti, first win of the season. We'll go and take a quick commercial break here, and we'll get ready to start your post-race show after a quick ad break on the other side of this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
As we welcome you back to the post race show for the SAAC Cup Series Season 4 finale here from the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. And up here in the booth with me, first win of the season, Andretti Robinson up here in the booth. Andretti, congratulations. Obviously, first win of the season here in Season 4. Walk us through those last couple of restarts there. Obviously, had the fresher tires, and we're able to hold on there. But walk us through your race. Walk us through this first win here from Homestead.
Yeah, man, this win, I needed it pretty bad. I haven't won in 2 seasons. I feel like there's been so many races where I've came so close, something goes wrong. But coming into today, I knew this is a weird track for me. I've learned over the last like year or two. During the day, I'm not that good, but whenever the sun comes down, for some reason, the lights just turn on and I'm super fast. I don't know what it is about this track that makes me do that. But yeah, I like the strategy call. I pit for 2 there. Me and AJ pit together, and then they all pit again. And then, yeah, I just had to play defense there. I was definitely nervous because I haven't won in a long time. 2 of my other teammates won a race this season, so I definitely felt like I should not be the odd one out. This definitely feels great.
Walk us through, with how the way that kind of the last kind of 50 laps went for you and the whole race where with the cautions continue to come out with the aggressiveness picking up, and you can continue to see yourself with those fresher tires, being able to pick up spots where you're where you're where you're where you're starting to perk up, knowing that hey, I have a shot to potentially drive through the field tonight and potentially get my first win.
Yeah, I knew the last 50 laps or so, I was like I said, when the sun went down, really started to make some pace. And then that one caution came out. And when I took tires, I knew I got I caught up to the championship 6. And once I got there, I was like, yeah, I know I can win this. I know they're battling for a championship, but I'm here to win the race, and I'm not just gonna let anyone by. But I raced them clean. They gave me space. I gave them space. And then once I got to the lead, I kind of knew all I had to do was play defense with my fresher tires.
And obviously, getting your first win of the season, like you said, means a lot to you. Your other teammates bringing it home in victory lane throughout the season tonight. Walk us through, the feeling, finally getting that kind of win under, out of the way here. Granted, here in the season finale.
Yeah, like this was honestly super great. Literally all season, I don't know what happened at the beginning of the season. My luck was just terrible. And then once we got to Bristol, my season just flipped around. I saw that it got from 6th in points to end the season. Before Bristol, I was like 18th. So I just had to keep
Oh,
grinding. This was awesome.
excuse me. Sorry. This is league broadcast jumping in here. The championship standings are under review. So you're going to have to give us a second. We're going to have a discussion about the happenings from the last lap.
Yeah, we
Please
got
continue.
you. Yeah, we appreciate your time, Cody. Well, but back to you.
Oh, wow, that was
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
yeah, back to you. Obviously, a little bit of drama here at the end of the race, but this last win, at the last of the season, meaning a lot to you.
Yeah, I'm so glad I got to end the season on a high note, considering how awful it was to start the season. I feel like Ty Gibbs from last year, he was terrible all year, and then finally stuff started to happen. But I considered myself the Chris Butcher of this league, always getting good finishes, but just never really getting up front and winning races. And I'm finally glad that I was able to show people that I'm capable of winning races. And I think if points are correct, we might have gotten second in the team championship. We got really close, but some bad luck happened. But all in all, a great season finale and a great season as a whole.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and obviously a good way to cap off, season 4 with a win here at Homestead. Looking forward into season 5. What is kind of the mindset for you and your whole team coming into season 5? Knowing that you guys come off of a win going into Daytona next season.
Definitely just straightforward. Definitely don't want to slow down and look back. I want to just keep moving forward. Now that I got a win off, excuse me. Now that I got a win marked off the list, next season I want to get more than one win. I want to win multiple races. I want to contend for championships. Maybe I can contend, but some of these guys are just out of this world. Sometimes I can't believe how fast they are. Like I think I'm good, and then they pull away from me. So definitely eyes forward to next season.
Well, we definitely wish you good luck into season 5. And once again, Andretti Robinson, another congratulations on your first win of the season. Before we let you go, anybody you want to thank, appreciate, or shout out tonight for tonight's win?
Definitely want to shout out all three of my teammates, Brad Sawinski, Christopher Robinson, and Cody. We were grinding all season. 3 out of 4 of us got a win. Hopefully next season, all 4 of us can get a win and all 4 cars can get in the chase. And also massive shout out to Cody for always putting us through all these years, all this hard work, spending money to put towards the league. And definitely a huge shout out to you for broadcasting our final 2 races, man.
Well, I definitely appreciate the kind words up here in the booth. And yeah, looking forward, even if it is as a spectator, to see what you guys can do in season 5. Yeah, a good way to end it here on a high note. But we wish you good luck, guys, into the off season and getting prepared for season 5. And excited to see what you guys can do here next season.
All right. Thank you. I'll see you next season, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll
You have a
see.
good night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Andretti Robinson comes home P2. We'll talk to your second place driver if we can find them up here potentially. AJ Hyder in the 44. We'll see if we can talk to him down here in the TV booth. This one moment. Obviously, AJ, someone who looked quick and looked like he had a shot to win. Right, but fortunately, he comes home the bridesmaid after not being able to get back up through the field. He was basically trying to hold on, basically there in that number 44 machine. But we'll see if we can talk to AJ Hyder up here in HVTV booth. Hey AJ, it's Christian up here. It's in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, a P2 for you in this whole 44 team, despite a chaotic, I would say, last kind of 50 laps there. But you're able to kind of limp it home there with those 50 lap old tires compared to everybody else with those freshies. But you seem to have like a top 2, top 3 car throughout the whole race tonight. Got the pull, led quite a few laps tonight. Walk us through your race tonight here to get you inside this top 3.
Yeah, I knew it was a long shot for us for the championship for the most part. We had a pretty good qualifying. I feel like our qualifying speed's been just top notch all season. We've gotten the poles, but just we don't have the wins to show for it. It with this car, it all comes down to the late race strategy. And I don't know. I guess I feel like most races I've been at the wrong place at the wrong time. There's probably more races where I think I probably should have won, but that's not really my place to talk, I guess. I don't know. So the racing with this car is just so frustrating with how the aero works and how the tires are. It's not a fun experience, and I just hope some things get at least a little bit cleaned up before next season.
Yeah, definitely, a chaotic last couple of restarts there, trying everybody kind of going for everything. And obviously, you talked about kind of being a long shot, you know, coming in, right? You still come home, it looks like 30. I mean, they're changing the points as we speak here, but it looks like
Yeah,
you
I have no
still,
idea what they're doing.
yeah, it looks like you should be your third or fourth, depending on how things go. But, walk us through, the mindset and kind of like what you expected to happen there those last couple laps.
I mean, it pretty much I expected how it would play it out. Pretty much, it was a caution fest by the end, and people were getting desperate. I was just trying to make the moves that I could, I guess, without wrecking anyone. But I feel like I did a good job of that. I had a pretty good final restart there. Got by Thurston cleanly. Just, wasn't enough there at the end to get by Andretti with the newer tires.
And walk us through, we saw kind of this kind of tire strategy game that, there would be some drivers who kind of would stay out on 15 to 20 lap older tires and they try to hold on. And then there would be kind of a new cycle of guys who continued to kind of cycle through the field if we did get these long green flag runs. But what's kind of that mindset of, trying to hold on? Or did you think that we would keep wrecking to put yourself in the spot? Or do you think that you just kind of had the ability in the car to just try to hold on with those older tires?
Yeah, I feel like for sure. I definitely thought I was on the right cycle, but Andretti was. I knew I had a feeling they were just going to keep wrecking, just with the way how some of the other races have been going. But I was just on the wrong cycle there at the end. If I just pit I think the caution before with Andretti and some of the other guys, I think I would have had the speed to get by at least him and just hold off the rest of the other guys. But yeah, other than that, there's not really much more for me to add.
Well, still a P2 finish for you nonetheless here. Coming home on a podium spot, obviously, having a good run, like you said, not really a great shot at running for the championship, a little bit just too behind in the points, from, the chase to give yourself an opportunity. But still, P2 can't really complain about that, racing nonetheless. Obviously, the points are something completely different. But looking into season 5, right? I talked to Andretti about this. Obviously, you are if you continue up the pace here, you're going to be a championship threat going into season 5. What's kind of the outlook for you and this whole 44 team coming into the postseason and then into season 5 there at Daytona?
Yeah, I think for season 5, I just think we still got the speed to at least make some kind of run. I just hope the wins that we do get aren't just like all-star races or money races. I do want to win points races. That's what I'm here for. But yeah, other than that, just yeah, just ready to get going for season 5.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you and this whole 44 team can do. Trying to put together a whole season together. If you guys, I feel like if you can get the finishes and the points put together, I think you are a championship caliber driver. So I'm interested to see what you guys do in the 44 team next season for season 5, whether it's up here in the booth or spectating, in the stands, watching you guys put on a good show. But before we let you go, AJ, anybody you want to thank, appreciate, shout out tonight for not only a good run tonight, but a good run throughout the whole season.
Yeah, of course. Just want to shout out everyone at Uprise Motorsports: Chris Silly, Connor Jafari, Nicholas Budenlip, James Thurston. He's kind of like a half teammate. He's going to be teammates next season for the most part. But also want to shout out the Pepsi machine and the Chris Silly Design machine. Brought a somewhat fast car to Homestead today, and yeah, just see if we can carry that momentum into Daytona next season.
That's going to be interesting to see what you and this whole 44 team can do. But we appreciate your time up here in the booth, and congratulate you on a second place run. Congratulate you on a good season, and look to see what you can do next season.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
AJ Hyder comes home P2 here from Homestead. We'll talk to your P3 finisher here in just one moment with Steven Maggio. Obviously, Steven a little bit more of a delicate situation because, he is someone who is depending on, how things go. You see right there the wreck on your screen with Thurston in them, that is, championship implications to where Steven Maggio could potentially come home a champion tonight. And we'll see if we could talk to him. We'll see this wreck right here at the line there. And you'll see off the screen there, James Thurston getting completely tattooed there by another truck there, by another car. But we're going to talk to Steven Maggio up here in the HV2 booth. He comes home P3 here from Homestead.
Okay. Thanks a ton, Christian. I'll announce it here. If we can pull in the other guys real quick, and then you can interview them how you like.
Yeah.
So our top 3, actually, we're just gonna go our top 2 because they're the only 2 here. Our top 2, second place is season 4 champion Steven Maggio, and after review, the season 5 champion with his first SAAC championship, 4-time race winner this season, James Thurston.
Awesome. Well, I guess we'll start off with Steven as we're getting through our unofficial race results here, and then we'll talk to Thurston after that. But, Steven, P3 finish for you tonight. Obviously, we just heard, not being able to get the championship after, having such a great run tonight. Tied for most laps led tonight here from Homestead. But walk us through your race tonight. Walk us through, this P3 run.
Yeah, it's just really hard to make. It's really hard to do everything in races like this because I knew I controlled my own destiny coming in, but I needed to lead the most laps, which I actually did somehow. And I needed to also get the fastest lap and win the race if Thurston got second. But in races like these, there's just 1 billion to 2 billion cautions, and it's the same people every week. And you just strategy is constantly flipping. Because if there's a caution on lap 15, half the field pits, and then you go another 15 laps, and now it's like, well, I have to pit because I haven't pit yet, and all the guys that just pit 15 laps ago, they're not going to pit now because they already have pit, so they stay out. So it's like just a constant rotation, and this is SAAC every single week. So it's just really hard to like control a race. There's like almost no way to control a race. So I knew it was going to be a tough task, and I thought I was going to be all right towards the end there when I stayed out, but Thurston had fresher tires and he got around me, and I, in retrospect, probably should have just stayed out still, but I decided to pit and just, try something. And I was able to get all the way back up to third when Omar and Thurston wrecked, but I needed them to wreck a tiny bit earlier so that way more people would have passed both of them, and I could have stole it, but I'll take second. I think we won the team championship too, so that's gonna be nice. Even though we were at a really big disadvantage with the postponement and my teammates not being able to race this week. But I'll take it.
Yeah, if I'm reading the points updated, if the team points are updated, yes, it looks like your team did win the team championship. But obviously, looking into, you know, tonight's race, right? Yeah, I kind of pointed out the same thing with Thurston and Bomar getting together at the end there. If they would have back just a little bit earlier, it might have been a different story tonight coming out of Homestead. But Steven, had a great race tonight, led the most amount of laps. You did everything you could tonight, and it's just still not enough. But coming into actively talking about the race tonight. You and Bomar came in with the freshest tires and, had to drive up through the field tonight. Granted, got a couple of lucky cautions there and, gaining spots up by that way. But what was it like just, knowing that you just had to be 110% those last, 5 laps there to try to make up spots?
Yeah, I mean it's extremely difficult. It's so hard to pass, and some of these guys are hard to pass. Um, it's just not a lot of tire wear when it's nighttime, and in the next gen the track is rubbered up and everything. But like you said, I was able to miss a couple of the wrecks that we had that got me sort of towards the front. And I mean, I was still looking for a Hail Mary at that point. I probably just made the wrong call and I should have stayed out when I pit. But, you know, I put myself in a spot where I needed someone else to do something, and that's never a good plan. I needed to somehow be able to control the race a little bit better, even as hard as it is, but you know, can't control everything. I mean, this is the third season in a row that I've scored the most points out of anyone in the chase, and I had a chance and it just didn't work out. I would have loved to have a chance last season. I'm just really upset that we postponed because it put my team at a disadvantage, and last season I was leading the points and we did not postpone for me. And this season we postponed for two people that I mean needed a Hail Mary and then another Hail Mary to win the championship. So I'm not really understanding the consistency there, but yeah, I'm gonna take my P2 and just try not to talk too much more about it.
Yeah, obviously, looking into season 5, I've talked to, everybody here. It is the final race of the season. What's the outlook for you and this whole 51 team to come to Daytona next season to be competitive and everything else? What's kind of the plan during the postseason and coming into Daytona?
Yeah, I'm not really sure if I have any leagues I can run in the off season. I think that this is a really short off season though, so I don't really have to worry about that. And gonna come back and try to have a lot better regular season. If I had been better in the regular season, I would have won the championship because I was lights out in the chase, but I just didn't get the wins in the regular season. And Thurston is super good at road courses, which this league has more than the average league. So he was able to rack up some wins and start with a big bonus on me. And that was the difference because I mean, I think I outscored him by like 70 points in the chase, and I just started too far back. But I'm hoping that Cody makes some changes in the offseason, maybe gets rid of the people that are causing cautions every week. I mean, I can name 5 that are like pretty much guaranteed to cause one every week. So I'm looking forward to next season. I'm hoping that Cody makes some good changes and we can come back and be better than I was this season.
Well, definitely looking forward to seeing what you, Steven, obviously coming home P2 and points, coming home third tonight can do um, next season, whether it's up here in the booth or, watching from the grandstands every week here. But before we let you go, anybody you want to thank, appreciate, shout out for not only tonight's good run, but the whole season overall?
Yeah, shout out, like I said, I disagreed with some of the moves Cody made, but still shout out to him for running the league. It's not easy running a league, and it's a lot of stupid stuff you have to deal with. Stupid drivers you have to deal with. Not stupid drivers, but they do stupid things. And Shout out to him for running it and funding it, funding the broadcast, funding the prize payouts, all that stuff. Shout out you for broadcasting. Thank you for filling in these last couple of weeks when we couldn't have our normal broadcast. Shout out Elite Performance Industries. If you need a setup, that's the place to go. Shout out my team GOAT. I think, like you said, won the championship. So me, Justin, Rivers, Jurg, and Micah. That's about it.
We definitely appreciate your time up here in the booth, and we appreciate the kind words. But we'll drag you back down there to, I guess, celebrate the team championship with your teammates and everything. And congratulations on another good run here, P3 from Homestead.
Thank you. Have a good one. God bless.
Steven Maggio comes home P3 in the race, P2 in the standings, and I think we have James Thurston in the infield care center after a tumble coming across the line there. James, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, season 5 champion for you in this whole 82 team. But first of all, the first thing I want to ask is, what's the feeling? You obviously had to fight pretty hard for it tonight here. Definitely wasn't just a giveaway for you in this 82 team, but what's the feeling coming home a champion?
I mean, to win the championship, I am ecstatic about. I mean, that was obviously the whole reason why I raced this season. That's the main goal for every driver, is to win the championship. And to be a SAAC champion now, it's a really, really cool feeling. Um, and I would say that I wish we could do it in a less controversial way, but I don't think that's possible. I think that controversy just kind of follows me everywhere, and I've just got to accept it at this point. Um, I mean, I guess if I'm not on fire upside down across the line, I'm not champion. So, I mean, I just got to take them how you get them, I guess. Just keep on rolling. And, I mean, it's hard to even come up with anything to say. I'm just so happy right now. Just got to even, just register in my brain that I'm the champion. But yeah, man, I was not the fastest this race, to start at least. Like Maggio kind of hit on there with the yellows coming out and all, it was really hard to decide what kind of race you wanted to run. So eventually, I just decided I wanted to be up front, no matter what cost. And eventually, that did cost me the win because I ended up being much slower than Andretti on tires. But I knew that pitting was going to put you so far back in the field that it was going to be really hard to catch up. And Bomar was not going to catch me if that race had just gone green. They were mired back in 10th or 12th with 5 or 6 to go until that caution came out. And then obviously they wrecked in the back for dead last like they always do, and bunched him back up. And then race control had some sort of problem on the first overtime, so then we racked it up again. And yeah, eventually I didn't get the best restart ever on that last restart, but it was kind of okay enough that it was gonna be fine. But then Bomar just decided to full throttle into me, and then he bounced off the wall. And everyone's gonna take this with a grain of salt because it's me saying it after the fact. But I didn't want to wreck him or anything right there. With the run that he had, I thought he was gonna keep going down, so I couldn't get to his door. And then I started going down, and obviously he didn't, and spun myself across his nose, and obviously flipped across the line. So yeah, that's my take on this. But it is what it is. We're the champion, and you can't make everyone happy.
Yeah, I couldn't really said it better myself. They can't take it away from you now. It's yours. So it was definitely an interesting move to say the least. But once again, in my opinion, up here, what the most probably not biased opinion, because I mean, when I came in here and called 2 races, just 2 guys racing for a champion there at the end, and you guys came together and gave us definitely a pretty interesting finish to the race, to say the least. So, but looking at you talked about that tire difference. What was it like just knowing that you just kind of had to hold on, you and AJ basically, with those older tires, while everybody else on the freshies were just trying to either make up spots or just try to get around you in general?
Like I said, obviously I would have liked to have fresher tires, but I mean, in this race, it was so hard to pass cars once you got past a restart. that even on fresh tires, like if you just ran at somebody's dirty air for a number of laps, like you just couldn't turn, you couldn't really do much. You would have to let the tires cool off, and so obviously I wanted some fresh rubber, but I mean I had to stay on. I don't even know how old my left side tires were. I think that my left sides were like 50 or 60 laps old, and my right sides were I think 47 because I pit right when we could make it on fuel, and I never pit again. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of the race you have to run when the car is this hard to make passes with. But you know, uh, I just I just kind of wish we could have more green flag. Like Steven said, you cannot control these races at all, like at all. Like there's no controlling these races because if you lead the most laps, it means you probably are on a big tire disadvantage at some point in the race, just with people staying out and then pitting and then staying out because they just pit. Um, and when it's big wrecks causing that sort of stuff, I can understand. But when it's guys wrecking like last and they keep wrecking for last, and it's the same guys wrecking for last for like the third or fourth time, it gets really old. I think for everybody in the field, I don't think anybody feels differently about that. But just yeah, I as far as the champion goes, um, of course I'm gonna say that I think they made the right decision. But yeah, I think that personally, racing is racing. Crashes are part of racing, and I don't think that it's I know Cody's not happy with the finish, which I understand as a league owner, but at the same time, I think it's also a really bad look if you disqualify a champion, no matter how they get it, because then it just kind of makes it look like there's kind of restrictions on how hard you can race for it. But that's not really my call. At the end of the day, I don't own the league. I just race in it, and I'm thankful that they didn't disqualify me, even though I feel like they shouldn't have anyway. But like I said, racing's racing. It's not the first time Bomar has even sent it in like that. He's done that 2 or 3 times this season, and I don't understand how he can be mad because like he's mad because he lost second in the point standings. But if he just didn't do that, he wasn't going to crash. So yeah, I don't understand why he can be mad about that. He should only be mad at himself, in my opinion. But like I said, you cannot make everybody happy, and obviously we did not make him happy.
Yeah, once again, I don't think I could say any better myself. You can't make everybody happy, and as you said, if you kind of disqualify the champion, it kind of puts a dud on it, right? At the very least, to see like that you can't, race hard for it, and you kind of have to be cordial about it. I think every driver should, put 110% out every lap of the race, every time you can. So I definitely think, it's whether it's controversial or not, it's a call that Cody's gonna have to stand by. But regardless, you get the championship tonight here from season 5, and we congratulate that on James. Obviously, I've raced with you a ton and know how fast you can be in and out, in any car track. So it's definitely not a surprise coming up here and calling the last couple races, getting to talk to you up here in Victory Land / the infield carry center after that huge tumble at the end of the race. But any last remarks you want to put, as a champion before we let you go?
Yeah, just thanks to Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports. I have to look at where the team standings are because like we've been a single driver team all season. I say we, it's literally just me. I've been a single driver this season for my team. We're gonna move over to Uprise next season, but for this one we had Persisum, and it appears that I finished in 7th in that regard. So, hey, we'll take that. Or we finished ahead of like 3 or 4 full driver teams. I think that you got to be happy about that, right? But yeah, man. Thanks for the interview. Thanks for the broadcast. Just super happy right now. Just gonna go celebrate this one a lot, and yeah, man, we're gonna come back next season and hopefully be just as fast, if not even faster.
Well, we congratulate you on the championship tonight. Good run throughout the whole season, and I can't wait to see what you can do in the future.
All right, thank you.
James Thurston, season 5 champion for tonight's chaotic race, right? Obviously, they kind of said it. I couldn't have said it better myself. Like I said to James 30 times during that interview, it seemed like he kind of basically, highlighted everything that, happened tonight. There was a couple of decent green flag runs, and then, we could never get, a long enough green flag run to even get a cycle going. But it is what it is. That's Homestead. That's the finale. Everybody wants to have a good finish coming into, coming out of, Homestead, and to set, record straight going into, next season for season 6 of the SAAC Cup Series. But go ahead and take a look at our unofficial results as it is, running a little bit late here on the East Coast. It's almost 11:30 Eastern here. But you look at the season finale here from Homestead, and Andretti Robinson gets his first win of the season in that number 45 machine. Congratulations to him. AJ Hyder, one of your championship 6, comes home P2 on a high note. At least finishing position wise, as well as Steven Maggio back there running at your podium drivers. We talked to all 3 of those earlier in tonight's broadcast. Brad Sawinski, I believe was he? Yeah, he was one of those other drivers who came down and took some fresh tires and was able to avoid the carnage. He gets a top 4 finish, a really good finish for that 28. James Thurston back there in P5, upside down, rounds out your top 5. You see Gabriel Dehari back there in the 72. He squeaks in for 6th, and James Balmar, the car that wrecked with James Thurston, comes home P7. He'll drop back to P3 in points by the end of it. You'll see Austin Dorian, Connor Trafari, one of your top 6, and Larry Miles rounding out your top 10. Looking further on back, you see River Jones in 11th, Nicholas Budlimic back there in the 60. He was one who sent probably James Thurston in the infield care center there at the end of the race there, back there in 12th. And Donovan David in the 94, he recovers to a P13. He had seemed like not even a drivable car at some points of this race. He recovers to a P13, a great recovery for him in that 94 machine. Michael Walls, he showed a lot of pace tonight, just couldn't get out of the wrecks tonight, unfortunately. He'll finish 14th. 15th will go to Jamie Wright. Cody Rivera is your league owner. Not the race he probably wanted tonight, coming home P16. Chris Downey, 17th. Shockey Tarpley, they showed a lot of speed tonight. Unfortunately, they'll come home 18th. Quincy Shawhacker, Wyatt Roberts round out your top 20. Looking further back here to the drivers rounding out the lead lap, Ollie Reeves and Malachi Drake. Obviously, Ollie looking for a big race tonight to potentially get a championship. Not the race he wanted. And you see a laps down here. 23rd on back, Christopher Robbins, DeClane Forge, Alexander Schumacher, Connor Zola, Ethan Moreno. He probably had a race-winning pace as well. And you see further down here, out early, Fidel Fabian, Brian Lorenzo, and Ellis Wells back there running at your top 30 for tonight's race. But what a race. What a championship. Definitely chaotic. Really, 2 races that we were fortunate to call here for the SAAC Cup Series. Obviously, Martinsville is Martinsville. You expect that. But Homestead, I feel like it put on some great racing and also put on a lot of carnage tonight. Obviously, we saw some beating and banging. We saw some aggressive racing. We also saw some really good racing, some respectful racing up inside the top 5, top 10 throughout the whole race outside, the last couple of restarts where people race for the championship. Just we're trying to do everything they could to give themselves an opportunity, and you can't blame them, really, in my opinion. You're racing for everything you have. You've raced, how many, at least probably 18 plus races, I'm going to assume. 30 race, yeah, 18 actually on the dot. I got it. 18 races. You're gonna try to do everything you can to come home a champion. So I don't blame them. Obviously, you got to do what you got to do. So, but another congratulations to Andretti Robinson on a win tonight, and congratulations to James Thurston, your season 5 champion tonight. We'll be on the lookout here further down the road. Here's we'll be back for. Actually, we're kind of on an off season here on the network. This will probably be our last broadcast here for a week or 2 here. So be on the lookout. If you guys aren't in the Discord, we will try to post it somewhere, or if you can just go in past VODs and find the Discord link somewhere else. But we appreciate everyone for coming out and watching the show tonight. We appreciate Cody for reaching out and having us, call these last 2 races. It was definitely a pleasure up here for HVTV and everybody for the network to get some more eyeballs here on the network and the channel, and myself personally, right? And we'll be on the lookout to see, I believe KBRM will probably take over next season as well. But we definitely appreciate all the opportunities from anybody who's, who thinks we're good enough to come up here and, do some broadcasting for them. But once again, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator for tonight's broadcast. No, Matthew Prochaski, unfortunately, could not make it for the season finale. But it's time to call the night here from Homestead. We appreciate everyone for coming out. Once again, I hope everybody has a great rest of your Thursday night, and we will see you guys soon.